For anyone that didn't like the Ashton Kutcher Steve Jobs film, you don't have to get too mad about that because now we have an excellent Steve Jobs film starring Michael Fassbender. Steve Jobs, directed by Aaron Sorkin, written by Danny Boyle, starring Michael Fassbender, one of the best actors working today, as the title character Steve Jobs. This movie is about the rise and fall of the man that created Apple Computer, and it shows him unveiling 3 products from Apple: the Lisa computer, the Next computer, I believe, was one of the other computers that he unveils, and the iMac. This also shows how he started from working in a garage, he and Steve Wozniak, played by Seth Rogen, to their rise and fame of helping to create the corporation Apple, and Steve's fall and then rising a little bit back up to power again, and his dealings with his ex-girlfriend, who's also the mother of his daughter, played by Catherine Watterson, and the daughter is played by, at least the adult version of the daughter, Perla Haney-Jardine, and the other girls that played the little daughter, Lisa Mackenzie Mass and Ripley Sobo, I believe, for the 5-year-old and the 9-year-old versions of Lisa. Kate Winslet is in the movie as Steve Jobs' secretary, assistant, kind of like. Her name is Joanna Hoffman, and one of the other characters that's often commented, we got this running gag where we had 2 Andys in the movie, Andrea Cunningham and Andy Hertzfeld. The main one, Andy Hertzfeld, is played by Michael Stuhlbarg, and finally the CEO that ends up owning Apple Computer is John Scully, played by Jeff Daniels. This is an excellent movie and makes you forget the Ashton Kutcher movie ever existed. I like the fact that this movie doesn't really feel like a remake of the Ashton Kutcher movie. It feels like it's doing its own thing with the story of Steve Jobs. That is awesome. I love the way this movie does the story of Steve Jobs, and it's very fast-paced, which is great because you don't want the pacing of this movie to be slow, even though it's a pretty long movie. It's a little bit over 2 hours, but the pacing of this movie really moves fast, so you barely notice that it's 2 hours, so that's awesome. And the style of this movie is really cool. There are a couple of shots that only show half of Michael Fassbender's face, which that is pretty cool, the way they do that. Michael Fassbender, even though he doesn't look like Steve Jobs, I totally forgot about that. He just felt like the character, the way he portrayed it and got the personality so darn right. And Kate Winslet is fantastic too as Steve Jobs' associate or secretary or whatnot. The way she carries herself, I barely even recognized that was Kate Winslet through most of the movie. Seth Rogen is fantastic as Steve Wozniak, one of Steve Jobs' oldest friends, but takes a lot of the heat from Steve. And Andy Hertzfeld, that character is awesome as well. I really did like him. I kind of felt sorry for him because he got a lot of the beating from Steve Jobs as well. And you really see how much of a jerk this guy was, and how the power he got went to his head as well. And Jeff Daniels, he is awesome in this movie too. I really loved him. There's very little I can find wrong with this movie because, I mean, even the daughter gets a good amount of screen time and great amount of character development too. Lisa, she was really great in the film. All 3 of the girls that play her really did a great job as well. And Catherine Watterson was great as the mother. So I'm definitely going to give this movie an A. I can definitely see some Oscar nominations for Michael Fassbender, Kate Winslet. That's all I gotta say for Steve Jobs.